traders and investors alike were green today. Well, not only was it an interesting day, but it's been a pretty interesting week in the markets. We've not had a lot of volume to help push us. There's been opportunities, but it's been a lot of chop. Even though we've grinded like today, we did push higher, but it wasn't a momentum move. So it made it a little more difficult. I had a great day. I'm sure a lot of the trend traders may have struggled into it. But overall, we did have some news drop. The FDIC MULLS squeezing biggest banks as it plugs a $23 billion hole. Now, they're going to squeeze the banks. The banks are going to squeeze us. That money's going to come from somewhere. So, unfortunately, we may be seeing some changes coming into our banking system. Just a lot going on there in the banks. Still doesn't feel like the market's really ready to trust. We did see some push in the day. And we didn't quite see as much bearish flow, actually seen some bullish flow on names like Citi. But the markets in general look like they want to push. So we do have a breadth thrust starting, and it is pushing pretty hard. Normally breadth pushes, price action follows. So that's what we're expecting. I've made it clear that I'm pretty much market neutral. And if we do get a push out of this breadth thrust, I don't expect an all new high. Please understand that. But I do think being market neutral, trading in this range that we're trading in, I think there's going to be some really great opportunities to take advantage of in these markets. One thing that I rely on personally is I'm looking for big candles. I don't really care where the market goes. I just want good ranging candles because that's how, for the way I trade, we get these big ranging days. Even though it may not stay there, they create huge opportunities. So I always want the market to go up, but my personal trading style doesn't care which way the market goes. So let's start looking at the charts, and we're going to talk about these banks and a few other things happen in the market as we go through the charts. You can see the oscillators here for the NASDAQ. Big change here. Back to the bullish side, positive side, 83. Positive side here on the New York Stock Exchange, 140. Huge change coming off the bearish. You can see the SPX, we are pushing into this weekly downtrend here. So be careful because that can act as a resistance level. You can see this is a breadth chart, and you can clearly see this breadth thrust. I've been talking to the Discord about this. Like I say, even though I am market neutral, this feels like we really want to push here. We got a big thrust here in the breadth. You can see the market's just starting. We gapped up today for no real reason, for this gap up other than the market just wanted to start trying to push up. And we had a pretty decent candle today, pushing up out of that little flag here. It's not the best flag, but pushing up out of that little flag back in. And you can see the breadth thrust. This is participation in the markets. We also seen a pretty big buy on close today. So we do know that at the end of the day they were buying, and of course the price action told us that as well. So this is our yields. Our yields have pushed up a little bit off the lows here, but we're still down. Dollar did have an update today. Still way down here on the bottom of the chart, below the 9. VIX steady gapping down. We've been talking about how weak that's been. Crude did try to push today. Had a crude report come out. It did end up pulling back. Looks like it's closed a little below that daily 20. That daily 20 was a struggle to get above. When we get above it, we get slammed back below it. Apple yesterday was able to close right on this daily 9 and push today, gap and push today. Just a nice looking chart. This may see where tomorrow's candle closes, or see where tomorrow's candle opens up at. And we have to take out today's close. Bullish on it for a candle gaps up and pushes, like a gap and go setup, or a candle opens up down here and pushes above. Bullish above, preferably this wick. It closed strong. I would rather, a lot of people, conservative traders, would be like, take out the candle body. I would rather just wait to take out the candle body and that little wick there. That way I know I have a better chance out. Increases the probabilities of winning the trade is waiting for the proper setup. So Apple, nice push here. You can see gold. So gold come up here, put this little tabletop in, down day to day, closed below the open. Advanced decline lines, strong push here as well. So we're seeing that nice strong push on the breadth. We're seeing a nice strong push here in our advanced decline lines. AMC, we had this nice push yesterday on that Amazon news, and today we pulled back a little bit, so we have a bearish Harami candle here. It's all about where tomorrow's candle opens. AMC, this is the intraday. You can see this nice pop yesterday. We got a big pullback on it, but it still held the gains. Yesterday it tried to push in pre-market and just got, pulled back. AMD had a decent day, not a big ranging day, but it had a decent day. It did push right there at the end. Semis kind of losing the strength. They were really strong. They're trying now. Micron earnings looked very well compared to what they were. Seeing some improvements. Looks like all those layoffs that they had done look like they have made a difference, and they were having some serious inventory issues, and they have cleared a lot of that up. So you got to keep stuff in stock to be able to build stuff. You need parts. You can see, let's go back to Amazon. I like Amazon better if it clears. You got to draw that line, clear that, then you got resistance there a little above 102. ARC. You can see ARC here still in this downtrend. We need to see, like, it did poke up above that downtrend, right back down. But if you were to draw this line out, looks like you're still pretty much under that area. We did close above some moving averages today, so we could take a move up to your daily 50. That would be the next target if we push. Abby trying to push up here, come back and touch the 9 today. So you can see it was trying to break out, showing some weakness. Like, as soon as they started to go for health and safety names, they kind of pulled back on it. So AMD is below the daily 9 now. Very tight action today, which we've seen. It had a decent range, but really didn't go anywhere. Closed at the open. And you can see AMD here on the weekly right now. We are trading a double inside bar on the weekly chart, but this week's candle obviously is not closed yet. Affirm trying to push back up. It's not doing a whole lot. Really want to see it get off the bottom of that chart. You can see the intraday was a nice move today. Had decent range on it to be a small stock. You can see Amazon traded in this little ascending triangle here on your 15. Broke out at the end of the day, provided a nice little trade there right at the end of the day. You can see Amazon weekly trying to trend back up. We're looking for it to neckline, inverted head and shoulders. Neckline, this is not a inverted head and shoulders yet. It is not an inverted head and shoulders till it gets above this line and confirms it. It's got to have a candle close above, then another candle open above this line to confirm that inverted head and shoulders. And it's not the prettiest inverted head and shoulders, but sometimes those non-textbook patterns work the best. I've seen traders sweat the textbook, and we're over here making money, not being so particular with their patterns, and they're working. So you got Apple here trying to push. It's not a bad looking chart on the weekly at all. AUPH put that short out this week. This has been a nice little trade. I didn't trade it myself, but we definitely got a nice push candle. We were looking for a candle to open up, or a candle to open up and push up, or to gap up and push. So in this case, the candle gapped down just a little bit, pulled right back into her support and ripped. So really nice play there. Congratulations to anybody who was able to make some money on that. Boeing still trading in this little base. So you're seeing a series of lower highs. Today closed above that. Maybe we're trying to break this downtrend here, because clearly you got a lower high, so you're into a downtrend. Push up, you put in a higher high. Starting to see a trend change. Bitcoin weekly still kind of got a double inside bar there on the weekly. So Bitcoin, still in this contraction pattern. Big candle today, right back up into that resistance level. It's got to take that resistance level out. That's another good sign for the market, seeing, a risky asset that strong. You can see our MACD right here. So we know what this MACD means. We know what we could get off of that. Boeing, pretty tight action today on Boeing. And you can see Citibank's pushed up. It has cleared this level. I talked about this. I wanted to be above this level before I traded. And boom, above it today. Gapped up above it and pushed. So that would have made a great play right there. This gapped up above right there, held the line and pushed. So that would have made an awesome play right there. And we talked about that level, wanting to be above that level, because letting your, letting the trade come to you, basically, waiting for the best setup that gives you the highest probabilities of winning. Not just, I think, I think the stock's going to go up. We don't do that. We wait for the proper signals that lead to the highest probabilities to winning the trade. So you can see Chewy pushing up here. So the charts, like a book, and each candle's a chapter. Each candle in this daily chart's a chapter. Then you can go into your intraday charts, and those intraday candles, the deeper you go, the deeper you're digging into the story. The candles tell the story. The chart's the book, but the candles tell the story. And you can see CVX here, nice push up. CVX daily, 200, there's resistance. Not a lot of range. Some energy was fairly stronger early in the week. Yesterday, seen a push up yesterday, and today that EPA or the crude report was a big draw, pulled crude back, popped it first. So charge point, you can see charge point here. We did close back above the 9 and daily 9 and 20. Let's keep an eye on that one. You got a decent little wedge pattern here too. I could draw this out. You can see a little, this wedging down here. I don't really want to call it a pennant or anything. It's kind of symmetrical triangles. You can definitely see the wedge. But closing above those moving averages may give us an opportunity to move. See where we open up tomorrow. That's very important. Will we open up above that 9? That's where we want to be. If not, we need to wait till we push up above the 9 on the daily. You got a decent MACD there too. Looks like that MACD is starting to open up. We can start to see the histogram growing. See Chewy here, big move up right back into that gap. So we got Chewy on a gap fill mission here. So let's keep an eye on that for the rest of the gap fill. Have a plan when that gap gets filled. We know what happens. When you close the window, we know what happens. That's when you have a plan for that. Most of the time when the window gets closed on a gap, you immediately see a rejection. Like over 80% of the time you see that rejection. Doesn't have to be a huge rejection, but it's a trading plan. It gives you an opportunity and a level to work with. You let the stock come to your level. When it gets to your level, you have a plan A, and then you always have a plan B. No need to watch a stock and not be able to trade it. So there's ways to trade false breakouts and stuff like that. Those are more opportunities. The market's full of so many opportunities. There's so many ways to make money in the markets. The problem is keeping it. So coin here, just some pretty tight action. Seen some call flow coming on today, but not a lot. Not a lot of action going on. Just trading in a very tight range. Need to break out of that. You can see consumer staples still pushing up. Tight action there. I don't really like that action. It's outside them Bollinger Bands. I don't like them little candles. DraftKings, good call out today on this one from one of our members. Nice candle, very strong bullish engulfing candle. We're going to keep an eye on this, see if we get any follow through. Our MACD is changing character. Our moving averages are trying to turn up. Even our Bollinger Bands are starting to make a move. So maybe we can see some follow through on that candle. Lily right into resistance and rejected at that resistance level. XLE energy up above that 9. This is FRC. I still think it needs to be above this 9 before I'm interested. This is some tight action. There's probably a big move coming, but we have no way to tell which way it's going to go. There's too many other names to trade for me. Definitely moving on some expanding volume, but the range is really tight. Wait for the move. You don't have to be the first one in a trade. Discipline is the key to your success. Google, rejected here. Look at that. So this was a bad print today. You can see that huge candle there. We did not range that much. That was a bad print. GME pulling back. GE got this little tabletop here we are pushing out of now. Those are some really tight candles there. IWM, very choppy today. Not a lot of range there. Intel, you got a huge candle here. They really come for this one. I'm not sure what got into this, if there was any news on it, but they really got into this. Nice gap up, which the market gapped up and pushed. So it followed the market and then ripped. And you can see the Qs here gapped up and was able to push up above. I like it up here. I like it better when it clears those, but a very good start. See where the Mars candle opens up. We want to take out preferably this wick. I want to be above that wick, have a candle, gap up type candle and gap and go, or a candle to open up and then push up above that. I want to be above that wick before I go in on it. Q's, nice push. And the only reason why I say that, sure, if you get in now, you can make more money. I get it. I know everybody thinks that if I get in early, I can make more money. I would rather make a little less money per trade and win a lot more trades. That keeps my confidence high. That keeps me mechanical. That's very important. Being mechanical and winning more trades, I'll take that any day over trying to get bigger trades and losing a lot more trades. I'll take the more wins any day of the week. Q's, big push today. You can see Q's weekly. It's little. It's a hammer. Hammers are found on the bottom of a chart, but you can see where they pulled it back. The bulls come back and push this back up. So that is a nice looking chart there. Lemonade, nice strong candle today. Closed back above the 9. See where tomorrow opens. This resistance level, the 20 is coming into it. So the 20 daily is letting you know that there's resistance there. That would be the target. If depending on how we act here, definitely got to clear this candle body. Look for resistance at that wick. Looking for a move up. Moderna, just not it. I don't have nothing to say. Grounded top there already. You can see intraday action. Just nothing great here. COVID's over. MU, huge move. They had a really good earnings and pulled back and was able to continue to push on it. You can see the earnings move and then this huge move here and then pull back. But provided some really good opportunities in both directions. You got good clear signals to come down. That was the problem, is you really wouldn't, this is what a lot of people do. They try to run in and counter trend trade. Like, sometimes you're best off just to wait for the next bullish setup. In this case, you could have made money here, but by the time you got your pattern here, you didn't break lower, and a lot of people probably lost money there. We would have never been in that trade yet because we wait to enter the trade, trying to catch the move instead of, buying, holding, and hoping. It's a big difference, and you get good clear signals, so it's not that hard. A lot of people think it's impossible, but it's not. Macy's, nice. I mean, you got a nice bear flag here. So this candle did open up and rip lower, but you can see, so it opened up. You can see where it opened up right here. The bulls pulled it back, so it made a nice move down, but the bears, or the bears pulled it back. The bulls come back in and ripped it back up higher. Got a little hammer candle there. Mara, trying to push back up. You got a lot of resistance coming up into that area. See where the Mars candle opens up. Bitcoin needs to clear that resistance. That is a wall right now. When that's cleared, maybe a lot of this stuff can push higher. That's on the crypto end. You can see Merck's kind of rounded top here again. Meta's got a little tabletop right here. Draw a line across here. I believe that candle looks like it would fit. Maybe not, but draw a line across the top of there, and you want to take that line out. Above that line, you're bullish, and below that line, you don't enter the trade unless you break below the 9 for a move lower. Meta, you can see very strong push up today. Look at this on the 15 real quick. Very nice little base there. That chop. So I know the chop is so hard to trade. Everybody wants to run in and run in and run in. And I try to tell them it's setting a trade up for you. Stay out of it. That's what it's doing. So look how tight that chop is. That was putting in a base. That's an actual base. I know it's not a pretty head and shoulders pattern or anything like that, but that is a base. So it's a very tight contraction going on in there. You can see it in the action. When we broke out of that, you've seen price acceleration. It's just a very nice little setup, but everybody wants to try to jump in while it's chopping. And that's just not the way to trade. The best way to trade is wait for the move, take advantage of the move. Get aggressive in the move. It increases the probabilities of you winning. It is huge. Be professional with your trading. Treat it like a business. Hobbies cost money. MU, strong push coming into resistance. Nice candle today. Nice earnings. Microsoft, trading in this little tabletop. Get a line drawn across there. You're bullish above. You don't enter below. Well, you could take a trade below this candle down to the 9. But just not a lot of room there. Better stuff to trade. But if it clears the level to the upside, it's go time with Microsoft. So you can see right here, right now, got a double inside weekly candle. Very tight dragonfly there, very tight. So we need to push up above this level. You can see the resistance there. So you want to clear this candle line. Even better would be to clear that weekly candle wick from a couple weeks ago. NVIDIA talked about how this had flagged back into the 9. Very tight action there today, but it did push up out of that flag, but not the greatest action, as you can see. Provided some opportunities. I mean, there's some trading opportunities in there, as long as you're not trying to hold. NVIDIA, some tight action up there on the weekly. Hopefully we can push up. NASDAQ, push back up. And so we closed below the 9. We were able to gap back up above this 9, push up above a lot of this action. See where tomorrow's candle is so important. You got a decent MACD forming here. So it's decent. It's not huge. We want to see that grow. We want to see this gap grow. We want to see gaps like this. That's not a lot of strength yet, but it's starting. So it's fresh move. See if we can continue higher. Netflix trying to push higher right into your 50 daily there. Palantir kind of chopping. Pendleton pushing up right into your 200. Your daily 200 is now resistance. We need to clear that to go bullish. Go back. This MACD looks really good here. MACD is really good. Look at that. Getting ready for your cross. I would keep an eye on that one. Bullish above that 200. Plug still. So we had this bear flag. I talked about this bear flag a couple of different times, and you can see we've moved lower out of it. Procter & Gamble, you can see the resistance right here. This candle gapped up and pulled right back into it. Since it gapped up over resistance, now that resistance becomes support, and we pull right back. It's holding a support right now. See if it continues to hold. The Qs, nice push here. I'd like to close above that 38.2% fib level. That would be great. Roblex, right in between that 9 and 20 on the daily. I don't like it there. Roku, some pretty thick chop. It's got a lot of stuff it's got to clear. SPX, back above your daily 50. Very nice push. Nice close. Back up here, you still got a wick there, but you were able to close those or clear those candle bodies. It's a candle line there that can offer resistance. We're above it. The diamond. So you can see the diamond here. Pretty tight action, trying to push the high close candle. Weekly diamond. You can see the last 3 weeks so far closed higher than the open. Same thing here with the SPY, trying to push. It's not been a huge move, but we have been closing. I know everything's coming, the whole world's going to an end, but we're having high closed candles on the weekly. I know everything's coming to an end, guys. I know it's over. Banks are crashing. I know all that's going to happen, but these candles are closing higher. We got to trade the market we have, and not the fear everybody wants you to believe or how they want you to feel. You got to trade the market that we see in front of us every day, daily. So you can see we gapped up over top of our 50 today and was able to push. Nice push. It's not a hammer candle, anything like that. For one, a hammer's found in a downtrend. You also need your wick needs to be at least 2 times or longer than the candle body itself. MACD's crossing. So we're still trading in this range. This is the range we're watching right now. If we can't take this out, I'm expecting to bounce in this area for a while. That's fine with me. Got some really good levels in here. Even trading sideways, there's great opportunities in a market. SPY up above your 50 there. The market's full of opportunities. And you can see we didn't have huge range on the SPY. I traded very tight, then finally was able to push right there at the end of the day. Did not have huge range. Been a pretty difficult week. I'm sure a lot of traders have struggled with the volume. Square, these are the kind of days if you golf, go golf and do something else. You don't have to trade every single day. If the market doesn't agree with you, if you don't have your edge in that market, please don't trade it. I mean, it's really that simple. Square, nice push up. I know new traders feel like they need to be trading every single minute, and it just doesn't work like that. Tesla, nice push here, but still couldn't take out the opening. We got XLK. This is technology. Pulled back to the 9. Looks a lot like the NASDAQ. Pushed up here, a lot like the Qs as well. But this cup is working. We are trying to push higher. I know. The world's coming to an end. I know. So Tesla here on the 9. We are holding the 9. That breath chart's been right all year. I don't, and I'm not claiming to be bullish. I'm not claiming to be bearish. Pretty market neutral right now. Like I say, that breath chart, if we get that move, it does not have to be all new highs or anything like that. We could just see a nice thrust higher. Doesn't mean it's got to go on for weeks or anything, but we could see a nice push higher. Tesla, this is not a bad chart. It's not a great chart. You could probably start to get a shoulder out of that and start to get a shoulder out of this, but it's not an inverted head and shoulders until we break the neckline. So for now, we're just going to keep an eye on it. It's not a bad looking chart. You could also look at it as a cup and a lazy handle. It could pass. It's not textbooks, not great, but it needs a little construction. It needs some work, and we'll be watching. So you got SMH, like that MACD, got that goose head there, like that MACD. So this is the financial sector. So with no bigger push than what we really had out of the banks today, I started to look around. The only thing I could really find in the financial sector that was strong was the credit card end of it, like MasterCard and Visa. So I think they had a lot to do with that move higher. I'm not really sure what to expect out of this FDIC. Them saying that they're squeezing, possibly getting ready to squeeze the biggest banks. That's the way it was worded, the biggest banks. So that's your top 5, top 6 banks, and that's just going to fall right back on us. And you take it out on the bigger, the bigger the better banks, and it's the ones who didn't have proper risk management, the ones who were struggling. Not saying the banks are super healthy, but they're not all failing neither yet. Keep it, hopefully it won't. ExxonMobil. So I just wanted to point this out. You got a 1, 2, 3 reversal pattern here. Pivot point 1, pivot point 2, pivot point 3. Pivot point 3 is a higher low. This can be a lower high setup. It can go either way. You're taking out this level right here would be pivot point. So pivot point 1, pivot point 2, pivot point 3. You got to push up back into the pivot point 2. Taking out that line, your neckline, resistance line here, taking out the pivot point 2 level is your entry. So I just wanted to point that out. XLT trading in this very weird pennant. Tried to break to the upside, false breakout, right back down. Doesn't really have a flagpole. It's not really a pennant. IWM weekly. So far, IWM, we are above the open on the weekly candle. So far, it's not, get too happy yet. You can see IWM here. Got to clear these levels. There's a lot of resistance here. We could blow right through that, but there's a lot of resistance there right now. And the put to call ratio has not updated yet. I hope you find this useful. Please remember, discipline is the key to your success in trading, and I'll see you in the trading room.